This isn't just any house, this is our Father's house. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's last portion of Psalm 23 from Max Lucado's book, Safe in the Shepherd's Arms. So let's get into it. Where will you live forever? The answer is in the house of the Lord. But if his house is your forever house, what does that make your earthly house? You got it. That's short-term housing. This world is not our home. We are just passing through. Philippians 3:20 says, our homeland is in heaven. This explains the homesickness that we feel. Have you ever longed to be home? Max Lucado shares this part of a time in his life when he did. He was spending the summer in his 19th year working in northern Georgia. The folks in that region are very nice, but not many are very nice to door-to-door salesmen. And there were times in that summer where he was so lonely for home, it felt like his bones would melt. On one occasion, when he was on the side of a country road, the hour was late, he was lost, so he stopped to pull out a flashlight and a map. To the right was a farmhouse, and in the farmhouse was a family. He knew it was a family because he could see them. Right through a big plate glass window, he could see a mother and a father, a boy and a girl. There's like a Norman Rockwell painting. The mom is spooning out food, the dad's telling a story, and the kids are laughing. And it was all that Max could do to stop himself from ringing that doorbell and asking for a seat at the table. He felt so far from home. Now, what Max felt that night is some of what we feel. Ever since your husband died or your child was buried, you learned about a lump in your breast or a spot on your lung. Some of us have felt far away from home ever since our home fell apart. These twists and turns of life have a way of reminding us that we aren't home here. This is not our homeland. We are not fluent in languages of disease and death. Now, our culture confuses our heart. That noise disrupts our sleep, and it makes us feel so far from home. And you know what? That's okay. We have an eternal address fixed on our mind. God has set eternity in the hearts of men. That's Ecclesiastes 3:11. Deep down, we know we are not home yet. So we need to be careful not to act like we are. Though our eyes are fixed on heaven, for some of us, this journey has been long, and very stormy. Now, in no way do I wish to minimize the difficulties that you've had to face. Some of you out there have shouldered burdens that no one else could ever have carried. You have bid farewell to lifelong partners. You have been robbed of lifelong dreams. You've been given bodies that can't sustain your spirit. You have spouses that can't tolerate your faith, bills that outnumber the paychecks, and challenges that outweigh the strength. And we're tired. It can be so hard for us to see the city through the storms. The desire is to pull over to the side of the road and get out at what entices you. We want to go on, but some days the road just seems too long. Now remember this, God never said that the journey would be easy, but what he does promise is that the arrival would be worthwhile. He may not do what you want, but he will do what is right and best. Our Father is the Father of forward motion. The trials of the trip will be lost in the joy of the feast. And that brings us to the end of Psalm 23. But hopefully through these weeks together, you have really grasped on to the many promises that are folded in each and every word of that passage. Later still today, there'll be another little video released with the closing thoughts on being safe in the shepherd's arms. And it's easy to say that you should just feel better and continue down the path of that road. But when your spirit is tired and broken and weary, don't forget to turn to God. Don't forget to fill your time with prayer. Let the Holy Spirit push so much of himself into you that all of those temptations and worries and feelings of sadness and loneliness and all those earthly burdening emotions get pressed out of you, and that there's no room because our cup fills and runs over, because we're following the shepherd who goes before us and begs us to come, not the shepherd who follows behind us and pushes us or tells us to go. He is a loving God who chases after us when we wander astray, who prepares a place for us, not just in the pasture, but a home for the future. It is in that God that we put our trust. It is in that God that we are safe and warm and ready. Thanks, guys, and God bless.